We keep talking about the markets coming off highs. Just so much what people call frothiness or foaminess, whatever. Give us your Wex word of the day. How do you see today shaping up?
Dislocated. I think that's the Wex word of the day for the reason that we are seeing such bifurcation, Frank. If we look at the narrow breadth or the narrow leadership, I should say, we are in a moment in time where, yes, we have all the momentum in the world. We continue to see the move higher in anything and everything artificial intelligence, but there's such a dislocation from the data, the economy, and the stock market. I do have some concerns here about this broader sense of euphoria, which seems to be overtaking the marketplace due to AI.
All right, so you're talking about the euphoria, something our Mike Santoli hit on in his weekend column. The VIX, it actually dipped below 12 last week. It's been kind of historically low. What do you make of that? I mean, there's so much going on, a lot of questions about Fed cuts, even some questions about the economy, especially if you listen to some of the people out here. Why is the VIX so low? Why do you think the VIX is so low, and what does that mean?
Mike brings up a great point. And there's two lenses to look through. You can look through the lens that everything is going to be okay, the market's going to move higher, and some people will say that's complacent. But on the other side of the fence, when you see the VIX, that was the lowest close from a daily perspective. It was at 11.95. That's the lowest daily close of 2024. So that is really illuminating the fact that no one is really buying protection. Everyone thinks that the market is going to continue to move higher. And I'm not trying to throw any shade or any cold water on AI. Yes, look at the profitability. Look at the way these companies are making money. NVIDIA continues to print money. But at the end of the day, we rewind in my 30-year career. I remember there was a TV maker called Fujitsu. They don't even make TVs anymore, but they sold a plasma TV for about $20,000. Now we are seeing all the TVs out there for less than $500. So I think those profit margins, as they potentially get attacked, you will see marketplace move. But it's the dynamic of NVIDIA and the top three stocks of the world. When you look at Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA, they're now taking up 21% of the S&P 500. NVIDIA is in over 500 different ETFs. So if you do see a cooling or a profit taking, you have to remember NVIDIA is up 800% since January 1st of 2023. So any type of pullback will have broader market index impact.
What, 20,000 plasma? Wow, Fujitsu? I don't even remember this company. I was just like, I literally went and tried to Google what you were talking about there, Jeff. All right, so I want to go on to some of the bullishness, or back to some of the bullishness on Wall Street. Evercore SI raising their S&P price target to 6,000. Are you looking to change yours at all? Last time we had you on, I know you were holding steady. You looking to change yours at all? I mean, just so much bullishness. They went on to say that AI might even lead us economically to Goldilocks. Do you think that's possible? 6,000, soft landing, or Goldilocks situation? I mean, talk to me about what you're seeing, like, when all this bullishness. Is it realistic? Does it get you worried?
Higher, but again, going back to
Oh, Jeff, if I cut you off, just go ahead.
Frank, when you see the momentum, absolutely. I just think there is a little bit of vulnerability here, Frank. At the end of the day, those price targets that have been obviously repositioned higher, yes, they can be attained, but I think you have to be prudent and realize markets don't move in a straight line. We haven't had a 2% pullback in the S&P 500 in nearly 400 days. So I think volatility actually would be a healthy component for the marketplace to see some form of back and fill. I see 49.50 in the S&P 500, some form or fashion to test before the election. But again, you have to realize, what is the market pricing in? Will we actually see an interest rate cut in September? And will the market actually move lower off of that because it's been such an anticipated event?
All right, so then you got to explain one of your picks for us. Home Depot is one of your picks. Talk about like stocks don't go all the way up in a straight line. This one certainly isn't. We also have two big housing reports coming up later this week. Why buy this stock right now with so much uncertainty, as you just mentioned, about cuts that would actually help the housing market and actually help Home Depot's business?
Well, I think the housing market is in a little bit more trouble than I think it's being illuminated. So I think a name like this, a main staple. Remember, Frank, I'm trying to position portfolios back into some of these cyclical names that have really been beaten up and haven't participated in the AI theme. So I think a name like Home Depot, which is a blue chip name, it's a tangible name we want to own. I think as people understand, the housing market has still a shortage out there, but I think there's still going to be a demand, and people are going to continue to fix up their homes. And Home Depot, as boring as it is, that is a name that you want to participate in as we see continued movement up.
I want to get to one of the other picks, Lockheed Martin, up about 0.5% year to date. I want to ask you, don't you think some of the volatility globally, isn't that already priced into that stock, and it doesn't seem to be moving higher? I mean, we have so many things going on. We have wars in Europe. We have a war in the Middle East. I mean, what do you think is going to be a catalyst for this stock? Why buy this now?
Risk happens fast, Frank. I've been doing this for 30 years, and right now the tensions between the U.S. and China over the Strait of Taiwan, that really isn't being priced in anywhere.
Okay.
So I think a name like Lockheed Martin could see a move higher if we do see some rhetoric or some tangible actions happen in that Strait of Taiwan.
All right, you got one other pick for us, FedEx. Earnings coming up next week, actually. What are you expecting from those earnings that make it a buy right now?
Profitability. We continue to see a name like this, and as long as the consumer strength is there, as long as you're seeing people continue to move packages around, I think there's health in this name. I think there's an opportunity for FedEx to go higher.
All right. So you gave us some value names. I kind of thought that was interesting, as everybody else is looking for growth in AI. Why do you think value is the play right now?
Just because of the dislocation. It goes back to when you see the market manner it is right now, the equal weighted S&P 500 compared to the market cap weighted S&P 500, it's the biggest dispersion we've seen in quite some time. That typically, Frank, signals a top or a bottom in the marketplace, and value's been thrown away. And I think there's a lot of value in value, despite the fact you're going to have to be patient, because this AI theme, we're in the first couple innings. I understand that and I respect that, and I'm still invested in that. But you have to see all good parties come to an end. The lights aren't really quite on yet, but they are flashing a little bit, and it may be time to go home.